رَسُولًا يَتْلُو عَلَيْكُمْ آيَاتِ اللَّهِ مُبَيِّنَاتٍ لِيُخْرِجَ الَّذِينَ.
Why would it not stir passions in a woman to see a man's face?
Well, it's about the burqa, isn't it, and about the woman wearing a veil.
Yeah.
And it's about why women are wearing a veil.
Yes, but I'm interested, if it's about equality, and you feel a sense of liberation, don't you? Why should men not be required to cover their faces too?
If I was a police officer and I arrest you and ask you, when did you kill James? I'm pretty sure you're going to be confused. And I would be committing the same logical fallacy the host of this TV show is committing. A loaded question. This fallacy is about asking questions that presuppose some unverified assumptions. In the case of the police officer, well, we never really argued if you are the killer. I shouldn't ask you questions assuming that is true before that is proven to be true. In the case of the journalist, he's asking why would it not stir passion in a woman to see a man's face? And so, why aren't men required to wear hijab in Islam as well? By doing so, his question assumes as true that generally speaking, a man's face would stir passion in a woman to the extent that actually deserves an equal treatment. And so Islam should require both genders to wear hijab. Not only this is not true, but by merit of him taking it for granted instead of justifying and questioning such an assumption, his question is logically flawed. Science tells us that men's sex drive is not only consistently higher than women's, but it is more consistent over time and more consistent across individuals as well. So if the research is telling us that women's libido is weaker than men, then it follows that generally a man's face may stir passion in a woman, but not to the extent to which they deserve equal treatment, since, well, they're not equal. And that because, again, passion-wise, women simply have a stronger effect on men. And this goes to confirm how right is Islam in requiring from both genders different efforts for the simple reason that different realities need different approaches. Now, some people may find that unjust, but to put things into perspective, consider the question, why don't men wear bras? Is it unjust that men are not quote-unquote equal to women because they should wear bras as well? This takes us to the conclusion that this flawed question simply lies on the false, unjustified assumption that men and women are the same. They are not. There are differences, and Islam lays down rights and responsibilities for both genders without disregarding these distinctions. Think about an average woman's face and the wide variety of beauty cosmetics produced for it, and then think about your average man and tell me these have the same effect. Obviously, they do not. That said, it's important for us to understand that the word hijab in Islam and Arabic does not necessarily refer to headscarves for women. The term actually means to cover or to conceal, and pretty much everything that comes between two things is hijab. Under this light, men too are required to conceal certain parts of their bodies, such as from above the navel to the knees when it comes to Islamic principles. And that is done with appropriate articles of clothing that cannot, for example, be transparent. And that would work as hijab for men. Hence, Islam is not discriminating between the two sexes, but simply requiring from both the same, without ignoring, though, the obvious sexual differences.